Hi friends, this is Carmen. Welcome back to my channel. I'm home. I am so glad to be home. I don't think that I'm going to take a month-long trip again, if not ever. Well, maybe if I go to England, I would take a month-long trip. But maybe I would bring Rosie with me because I really missed her. Yes, I miss my daughter and my son-in-law, but I really missed Rosie. So today I am going to be doing some repotting of some of the plants that I picked up while out on my adventures in Arizona and California. And I'm going to be talking to you. It's going to be a little bit of a chatty repotting. I'm going to be talking to you about some of my experiences there, my trip back with Georgie, how the plants fared in travel, mailing them back, and was that really worth it? So I'll be going over all of that with you, okay? So lots to talk about and lots to show you. Let's get to it. Before we get started, friends, I just want to show you a quick picture of what I am using in my soil mix today. I've started off with my base of Fox Farm Ocean Forest soil, which I love, has lots of nutrients in it. And then I added some Orchid Bark. And I'm going to have discount codes for these mixes. And I also decided to add, for some more aeration and better drainage, some charcoal, horticultural charcoal. And I also added some lava rocks. I use these not only for top dressing, but these are a great alternative also for pumice or perlite. So I've mixed all of these together, and I will have discount codes to those three additives down below in the description box. Okay, so I'm going to do the three Hoyas first, okay? So I've got the Hoya Crimson Princess here, and I can tell this one needs potting up because it's like loose in here. I can shake the pot and it's like a big root ball. The soil is so compressed and dries out, and it's not absorbing water the way that it should. The leaves look really wrinkly. So I know I need to repot this into some mix that will help it absorb water and get that water up into the leaves. So I am going to be reusing the same pot and the same little trellis there. And this soil, for some reason, is very hard, and especially the top. So I'm just going to break this down. This is a Hoya that I got at in Arizona. All of my Hoyas I got at Plant Stand of Arizona. So I'll take this out. I know that Hoyas traditionally, or in past experience for me, don't necessarily like the roots messed with a whole bunch, and if I can avoid repotting them, I will, but I can't for any of these. This one, because the soil is very dry and compact, so it needs fresh soil and fresh nutrients. And the other two is because it has not enough drainage and it's too much coco coir in the mix, so that's why. Now, let's talk a little bit about my trip, okay? I had really a good time, and I've really enjoyed spending time with my parents, both of their birthdays. My mom's was in February, my dad's was in March, and I just enjoyed spending time with them so much. Look at those roots, those are nice roots. And so just for that alone, I'm glad I went. And I enjoyed seeing my son too. Get all the roots in there. And I'll be honest with you, no matter how old kids get, it can be trying sometimes being a parent, and being a parent of an older child you know, can be difficult too. And all I ask is for prayer. I'll just leave it at that. I ask for prayer for mine and my son's relationship. God knows. God knows what we're going through, and God knows what him and I need. And I am trusting 100% in God to restore that relationship. So I'll leave it at that. Well, that was an easy one there to repot. And so let's just put this back here. All of these will be getting a fresh dose of water. There you go. So that one's repotted. That looks nice. Look at that. That looks nice. See, this has too much coco coir. There's hardly any drainage chunks in here, and Hoyas need that. So that's why I'm repotting these next two. This is the Hoya albo, Macrophylla albo. I'll put the name on top here, friends. Okay, so this one's got some good roots also, but like I said, just not enough drainage in here. So that's what it needs. So like I was saying, I had a really good time visiting my family, and I did, about halfway through my trip, I did take a trip out to LA. I was raised in Los Angeles. After coming from Cuba, my family settled in Los Angeles, and I was raised in Alhambra, El Monte, went to Pasadena First Baptist Church. So I love Pasadena area. Took some pictures there of a building that I've really loved and wanted to take pictures of for a long time. Now that I'm getting more into photography, I wanted to take the picture of this building of the Pasadena City Hall. So I'll show you some pictures here. I'm actually having some of those pictures. I took them in color, but I've created them also in black and white. And I'm going to be putting some up in my lounge here soon. I'm waiting for the prints to arrive, and I'll be showing you that soon of me putting them in my lounge, black and white photography, which I'm getting more and more into photography, but I really enjoy doing, in particularly architecture in black and white. I think that is really cool. And met up with a very dear friend, old friend that I had not seen in 30-some years. We used to work together years ago, and like my first job actually. And so it was nice seeing him. Went and had lunch with him at the Bob's Big Boy in Burbank, which is the original one. That was really cool to do there. Okay, put that in here. And it was on a rainy day, which, you know, they've been having so much rain in California. And I thought I wasn't going to be able to do any filming on that day or anything, but it worked out that we met up for lunch that day, so it worked out perfectly. Oh, she's going to be so much more happy in this. All of these Hoyas are going to go into my bedroom. I've got my Hoyas there and that south-facing window. Here's the Hoya curtisii. Isn't that pretty? And this is in the same type of soil. I'm actually propagating two cuttings from these that just kind of came out, and this one here, I had the same problem with my last curtisii, where the roots can be so delicate and kind of fall apart, but it needs more drainage. Anyway, so the weather in California was hit and miss. There were a couple of days where it was absolutely gorgeous. There were a couple of days where it was rainy and dreary. You know, that's LA for you. And but I made the very best of it. Spent 5 days there. Visited nurseries, 2 nurseries, Armstrong's and Mickey Hargitay's plants that I had not been to before. So that was cool. And particularly Mickey's plants. And make sure I get them all in there. I couldn't believe the prices there. I'll leave links to all of these down below so you can see also my visit there. He has such incredible plants there at really, I mean, I'm talking reasonable prices. And am I going too fast on these, or are these just being easy? Okay. And this one I'm going to hang because it's already trailing over. And the 2 little cuttings, once they root, I'm going to put them right here. I was at Target a couple of nights ago, and I picked up this hanging basket there, terracotta ceramic. No, yeah, it's terracotta. And it does have a plug so you can take it out and pot directly into the pot, or like I'm going to do, it's going to go just like this, and I'm going to hang it there. Okay, moving right along, as you can see from that clip there, Rosie and Georgie are getting along. The ones I'm actually having issue with are Sam and Georgie. It's a whole male dominance thing there. So here is my Monstera Peru that I got at Plant Stand of Arizona. And, ooh, it's going to go in the same pot, but I want it with more drainage. And the roots look really nice, but again, it's got a little too much coco coir for my liking. I would like it to have a little bit more drainage, so I'm going to take some of this off. And it's growing really well. Look at that. I was happy to pay the $29.99 for this because I know that Costa Farms, yes, they have them in their trending tropicals and they're supposed to be cheaper and everything, but I can never find them in any of my Lowe's or Home Depot. So when I saw this there, I thought to myself, self, you have got to pick this up. Okay, well, maybe that's be too much because this is pretty full. So that's why I went ahead and got this. And I have not decided yet on this one if I'm going to let it hang or put a pole on it. I don't know. I may put a pole on it. I've got a brand new pole coming, so I may do that. Okay, everybody in there. It's opened up like 3 leaves since I got it home. So if you saw the haul videos from Arizona and from California, you saw that in Arizona I picked up a lot more stuff than in California because I had purchased things in Arizona first, so I kind of went a little crazy. And so by the time I got to LA, you know, I knew that I was going to have limited space on my boxes to mail these back, and you know, the cost and everything involved in that. So that's why I only picked up a few things like this Syngonium Sensation. I have it in this milk glass, but I'm going to put it back into the same pot because this too, the soil is very compact and very hard, but it's got good roots, but it dries out so quickly. So I'm going to give it some new soil so it won't. I couldn't believe this was $6.99 at Armstrong's Nursery. I do have more that I've made up of soil, so, but the roots look really good. Look at that, really healthy. If you have one of these Sensation friends, let me know if there's anything in particular that you do for it. Being a variegated plant, I'm assuming it's going to need some sun. This is going to go actually, or some light, in my plant room, my lounge area, where I have a really good grow bulb in there. And it's already opening up a brand new leaf since it got here. Look at that. But one of the things I love about this, yes, the variegation, but how thin the leaves are. This is different than a domino peace lily, you know? Okay, guys. So it fits perfectly into this hobnail milk glass there. And I have the Marantas also, and I'll show you a picture of that. The Marantas in my lounge area in milk glass also, so I think that's going to look really good, all of them together. Okay, so here is the philodendron, Hartley philodendron, and this one too, the soil is very compact. I can feel it shaking around in there. So it also gets very dry quickly. That's a surefire sign, friends, that your plant needs repotting if it gets dry quickly. Just grab it down below here. Oh lordy, it is dry, very dry. And it wasn't that long ago, a couple of days ago, that I watered this. And you see the soil is just very compact. The roots are good. So this one also came from Plant Stand of Arizona. So let's talk a little bit about mailing these plants back. So my idea of, you know, finding things there that I couldn't find here and that were better priced was a good one. The one thing that I didn't count on was my finding so many things that I couldn't find here and at a good price. So, you know, I ended up with quite a bit, like 16 plants that I wanted to ship back. One of them I didn't even bring back. I left it with my mom, which was the Philodendron gloriosum that I got for free. That one was potted directly into a ceramic pot. I didn't want to take it out, and it was already, you know, on road to recovery. So I left it with my mom for her to take care of. Oh, Lordy, I'm catching on to everything here. And so I left it with her. I didn't even bring that one back. I'll put a picture here of the boxes that I filled. I filled one larger box and one smaller priority mail box. The larger box I ended up sending back first class because it was just way too much money to send it back priority mail. And the smaller priority mail box actually got here the same day I did. I got back on a Wednesday and so did the box. But it was not cheap. I think I probably evened out well, you know, came out even as far as how much I saved and how much I spent in sending the plants back. I do think it is a good idea if you're gonna be getting that many plants to mail them back. Definitely. Had I known that Mickey's plants was going to be so inexpensive, I probably would have held off on buying so much in Arizona. But, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda, you know. I had no idea that was going to happen. I do now if I go back, because that would have saved me even more. And they had, you know, a lot of different sizes and stuff to choose from. Okay. Oh, you're going to be so much happier, honey. I haven't quite decided where to put this one yet. I have a woven basket, like a rope basket that I got at Target Dollar Spot also, that I may put it in. It's doing so well as a hanging plant. It's going to be so much happier now with all of this fresh soil and drainage and fresh nutrients in it. Oh, it's just going to be so happy. So I think I'm going to put a little saucer at the bottom, and this is a little deep for this, so we'll see. And it has these little handles, so I may hang it from here, from these handles, but we'll see. Okay, so this one, you can tell this one had a little bit of a rough time in the transport. This leaf right here bent, and I need to repot it because it's like flip-flopping around in here. And some of these lower leaves I'm going to take off because they're not doing well. And this soil is a little too dense also, and it's not, it stays too wet. One's too dry, one's too wet. Both of them need better drainage. Okay. Now, the one plant that did even worse than this one, it's an area right there, was, and I'll show you a picture of it here, the fuzzy petio, the philodendron fuzzy petio, the little one. Oh, I've had to take off a few leaves. The leaves got real bruised and damaged, and so I had to take some off. The plant will survive, but it's, you know, not looking its best right now. But it will get better. So it is in underneath a grow light, a grow bulb. Okay, and it will do better. That was really the one plant that did the worst, was the fuzzy petiole, and this one. You know, the leaves got bent, even though I was so careful in wrapping them up. I got some paper from Plant Stand of Arizona. I used their packaging paper and stuff, and you know, put them all nice and snug, and so they wouldn't move around and stuff. But you know, I can't control how the post office throws their boxes around or doesn't throw their boxes around. So you know, it is what it is. Okay, this I got at Lowe's clearance for like $8 or something like that, this philodendron imperial green. And it doesn't look super happy right now, but it will. It will grow, and it's already getting a new leaf right here. This one's unfurling, and I have this on my dining room table right now, and it gets morning sun there. Okay, now one last potting up, and this actually is not part of my plants that I got on my trip. This one I left behind with a couple of, remember this is the philodendron burl Mark's little kid that I had done a cutting on, propagation on. Well, Mark's growing new stems, and look at all the roots on Mark Jr. Isn't that something? So, again, you know, you really need to go to Target Dollar Spot. They are killing it with pots and everything. So this was $5, this ceramic pot. Mark is also in a ceramic pot, very similar to this, but obviously much bigger. And he's doing brilliantly in it, loves it in there. So I figured Mark Jr. would do great in here too. And I could put him in my TV room. So go ahead and fill that up and put little Mark Jr. in here. There we go. So that's you know, the plants that did well and the plants that didn't do so well on the trip back. Now Georgie did really, really well on the trip back. Some of you may know, some of you may not know this, but my daughter is a veterinary technician, loves her job, and so she advised me on how to, you know, get Georgie ready. I did have to, if you're traveling with a dog, this may be interesting for you, but I did have to have a recent rabies certificate for him, that he had his rabies shot within the last year. He was coming up on his 1-year anniversary, so my mom and I went ahead and took him and Willie to a clinic and had them both shot. Well, I should rephrase that, vaccinized, not shot. And so he had that, and that I flew American Airlines, which is the best airline to fly nonstop, let me tell you. So I had his rabies certificate, and it cost me $125 to get him on the plane with me, you know, in the cabin. There was no way on God's green earth that I was going to put him in a cargo hold. Okay, he was going with me. Now, I think you can do that up to pets that are 25 pounds is, I think, the limit that you can do that to. Go ahead and pour this in here already. So he did great. Kristen advised me to give him, oh, I better take the plug out, to advise me to give him half of a Benadryl, 25 milligram Benadryl, cut that in half, give him half when I got to the airport, and if by the time the plane took off, he still wasn't settled, to give him the other half. Well, and that's what I did, and he slept the entire way. I had him in his little carrier. Put some pictures here. He does look a little doped up, but he did fabulous on the 4-hour flight back home. I sat next to a very nice lady that loved dogs, and she petted him and everything. The flight attendant gave him his own little cup of water and pack of cookies. He loved that. Look how great this looks. And he did wonderfully. Got here, and he didn't, you know, have any accidents inside his carrier or anything like that. Once I got landed, one of the first things I did before I even got my suitcase or anything was take him outside quickly and have him, you know, relieve himself, poor little guy. but he did wonderfully, did wonderfully. Wasn't that fun? So all in all, I did have a good trip. Were there a couple of hiccups? Yeah, any trip. It wouldn't be a road trip or a trip across the country if there wasn't a couple of hiccups. But overall, I'm thankful to God that he got me there and back safely, that he got Georgie home safely, that Rosie, Rosie did really well. And, you know, I will definitely do it again. My dad turns 90 next year, so I think we're going to be planning an even bigger party for him. And, you know, I pray God gives him good health and I'll be able to see him again next year. So I'm going to show you where everything is going to be placed in my home, and kind of keep you updated also on how they're all doing. So you want to make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you get those updates and don't miss out on any of that, okay? If you enjoyed this type of really chatty repotting and everything, please do let me know, and I will make sure and continue making those for you, okay? But let me show you where they are. I will see you in the next video, friends. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.